Every single JoJo serves the position given for the each respectful part, each part presenting something new to the overall story and the overall enjoyment of the series. That is, until part 3 comes along. Jotaro Kujo has this attitude and this nature of an inner character complexity with an outsider badassery that is all great for his character trait being Jotaro. But also, besides Jotaro, we have more in JoJo with this character trait and more. And that is when we go to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Part 5, Vento Aureo. Giorno Giovanna, arguably what I call the most interesting JoJo as for the main universe, has those character traits that you can define Jotaro, sure, in a bit of a lighter tone, but even more than that. As for Jotaro, who is an inspiration to someone like Giorno, is taking a lot from Araki's mind and pulling it into a badass, flamboyant, caring protagonist with a dark backstory that leads him to a better life, Giorno Giovanna. Giorno is an amazing character, and to look deeper into what I see in Giorno, we have to talk about the morality of Giorno Giovanna. Giorno is really different to me, being abused in the least of words, being treated, misunderstood, and we all know the story of Giorno. Misfortune comes his way, it hits hard. Whenever you want it or not, you don't decide where to be born, neither you can do anything about it. Why me? Well, why not? Giorno Giovanna felt this misfortune coming to him. He was a sinking ship until everything changed him. The role of the mafia in the place where Giorno lives is not a role of having, gaining, or possessing. It's a role of respecting, trusting, and saving. Giorno did save that man that day, that man that changed his life. One deed of a simple thing saved the life of someone who will change the way you look this world, the way you see, feel, or think. Giorno wasn't like his mother or his dad. Giorno's dad is a parallel journey to Giorno himself. It's just darker and wrong. Dio used the misfortune that went through him to define his morality as an approacher to something villainish. Dio let his misfortune define him, while Giorno did not. Giorno not letting his misfortune define him and being the first JoJo in 5 parts to have his goal into him by himself and himself only, and not being pushed to him by anyone or anything, is what I call great character. Giorno has a dream to become a gangster, but before that, he needs to learn 3 lessons. Lesson number 1, sacrifice and revenge. Through his journey, you get characters that are there to give everything for him or to be pushed into a mess because of him. Look no further than the first fight with Black Sabbath, when the old man dies because of Giorno's indirect conflict with a simple deed of making the lighter wet. Giorno's personality grew up from that, and after he obliterated Polpo in the most best way possible, of course, because of his morality, to revenge the man that had nothing to do with that. Lesson number 2, trusting. To Mafia, trust is everything. Giorno learns how to trust people around him. That something can be a pain in the ass, sometimes the best thing ever. Giorno learns why trust is so important to people like him. Giorno learns who to trust and who to not trust. Lesson 3, accepting your fate. Giorno accepted his path and moved on to bigger stuff than him. That is why he became who he did. After all of those fights and all of those things coming to him and the rest of the gang and the thought process they went through, they found what they wanted in their lives. And that is freedom. As for inner freedom, inner morality, and honestly, everything beyond that. And Giorno became the godfather of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Well, quite literally. character like Giorno can be defined by a lot of stuff, like his passion for his dream, his love for everyone, his dislikes for some, his personality of cold badass yet a warm-hearted person. But what I define Giorno for are his morals. Giorno is not the cold-blooded murderer even though he kills people. He is just like Jotaro. He serves this point of a person that can judge, but Giorno takes it to the next level with that. He can agree with you and use that against you. He does not stand any level of hypocrisy whatsoever. He's not a loud character, he's the quiet one. His skill of being alone made him an introvert. As for the main JoJos, I consider Giorno to be the smartest, because of his way of thinking being so unique. If you have 100 people in one room and making them to make a plan to escape from somewhere, Giorno will come with the most unique plan out of all of them. And he's also fast at thinking. He serves as the head of the group for the most part. At the same time, he has the biggest advantage as a character, his ability to warn, go along, and think without making a big deal about it. There are times where Giorno warns the characters, they know they're gonna do something wrong before he kills them. Killing for Giorno isn't the first option. It might not be the absolute last either, but I can confirm it's far from first. Then there is the times when he can say something without making a big deal, and Giorno doesn't talk much. When he talks, it's usually the end game. He has the final word, unless it's a Bakio round. My reason for liking him so much is that he always knows better. Most of it, if not all of the villains in Part 5 have twisted personalities, and Giorno works on that perfectly, adding depth into them in the way that he beats them or makes them go down with a class style. And that is the way of presenting himself, not just in the character design of Giorno, but the way he walks, talks, and acts. It's just like his father. He has a lot of charm around it, and at times he is a simple person as well. What he uses for comedic relief in the part is usually taken to something that is really funny, and he has this level of characterization just like Dio that gives me the gaudy look about it. Like for example, the scene when he is levitating above Diablo. Giorno is a character of many things, and most of it has to come with his morality. He isn't a reactionary character. He's the closest character to a shonen protagonist you will get from JoJo. Well, who am I lying to? Giorno is next level to that. He's the least shonen protagonist from part 1 to 5. Easily. Then it's him being a mix of Dio and Jonathan that adds a lot to him, and he takes the best of each of them and makes him to be himself. But also I see more into Giorno. I see a bit of every JoJo character so far, a bit of outsider, like Araki likes music, Araki likes movies and stuff like that. I see a bit of Giorno into future JoJo characters as well. That's why Giorno is amazing. Giorno as a whole, he's my favorite protagonist from all of JoJo parts. Thus, even though he's a JoJo, he's my favorite JoJo. From Golden Experience to Golden Experience Requiem, everything Giorno does clicks in my head as greatness, and I love his character beyond any beliefs. Thank you Hirohiko Araki for making one of the best characters ever, Giorno Giovanna. Thank you for watching this video, I hope you enjoy it. This is my character analytics video on Giorno Giovanna, my favorite JoJo / JoJo. As many of you have read the Part 5 manga, I'm sure there are some anime onlys in the mix, so I need to make this video as symbolic to Part 5 events as possible without mentioning all of them in direct ways. I'm sure Part 5 manga readers can appreciate this video, and Part 5 anime onlys can appreciate this video for the light spoilers I gave away and not any heavily spoilers kind of stuff. The anime has been great and has just been fueling my passion for JoJo more and more. I thought it was impossible to love JoJo more, but I was proven wrong. Every single episode, I guess I am analyzing something new about JoJo that I didn't know before. This franchise is amazing. At the same time, I am probably gonna make some videos like this for each member of the main cast for Part 5. So when time comes in the anime, I'll probably start with the characters that are earlier and then move to heavier characters characters like Bruno, which all of them have actually dark stories. Part 5 is quite depressing if anything. Part 5 anime onlys are quite not ready for this part. That's all I had to say. I don't really have anything else to add to this video, so I will just say make sure to be subscribed with notifications on, because notifications on and subscribed are something that are basically the same thing. But if you do one, it won't work good. But if you do both, it will work good. I'm sure that's the easiest way to explain. Also, follow me on Twitter. I don't know why, if you have a Twitter account, you don't follow me, because I post the craziest things there. And I'm not even exaggerating. Nah, maybe I will be exaggerating a bit. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. I hope you like this video. Have a nice rest of the day or night. Depends where you're living at. Adinplore, from the deepest place of the mafia gang, is signing out.